Welcome to Hauntcore Vault. If you are ready for horror tales, you are in the right place. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel. I'd love to know where are you from and what time you are watching. Let's begin. You've probably heard of monsters on the dark web. Hackers, hoaxes, maybe even secret hitmen. But what if I told you one of them was real? His name is Peter Scully. And his crimes weren't fiction. They weren't rumors. They were so real and so horrifying that even veteran investigators struggled to speak about them. This is not a creepypasta. This is a warning, especially for parents in vulnerable communities. Peter Gerard Scully is an Australian serial predator and convicted child sex offender who was behind one of the most horrific criminal enterprises ever discovered on the dark web. His crimes are considered so extreme that investigators describe them as pure evil. In Australia, Scully was involved in real estate and ran a scam involving fake investment schemes, which defrauded investors of hundreds of thousands of dollars. He fled the country in 2011 to avoid prosecution. Peter Scully was once a businessman from Australia. He ran a real estate scam, and when authorities began closing in, he fled the country. He resurfaced in the Philippines in 2011, and that's where the nightmare began. Once in the Philippines, Scully began exploiting children in rural, impoverished areas. He created a dark website called No Limits Fun, where users could pay Bitcoin to watch increasingly violent and depraved content. Scully specifically targeted women in impoverished communities, much like he targeted his child victims. Many of his accomplices were themselves financially desperate, with limited education and few job opportunities. He offered them money, protection, or romantic relationships in exchange for helping him find, lure, or abuse children. Scully pretended to be a partner or boyfriend to some of his female accomplices. For example, Carm Ann Alvarez, who was just 19 years old when recruited, was reported his live-in girlfriend. He convinced her to help manage victims, film the abuse, and clean up evidence. Lysel Lou Soralvo, known as Lovely, was also allegedly in a relationship with Scully and helped recruit young girls from the streets under false promises. These women were likely groomed and manipulated. Some may have been victims themselves before becoming perpetrators. Scully operated under fake company names like No Limits Fun and created false charitable fronts or modeling agencies to make his activities appear legitimate. This helped him gain the trust of locals and collaborators who initially believed they were working for a real business or media company. To blend in and avoid detection, Scully relied heavily on locals who spoke the language and knew the area. Some were low-level recruits who delivered messages or helped move victims. Others were more involved, assisting with camera setups, logistics, and ensuring victims didn't escape. Once involved, many accomplices may have feared Scully, as he was controlling, violent, and made threats. He was known to physically punish both victims and those who disobeyed him, creating a toxic and dangerous environment where compliance was often forced. Using the dark web, Scully created a hidden site where users could pay to watch children being abused, live, or through recorded videos. He called it No Limits Fun. And what happened there defies belief. Scully didn't work alone. He built a network with recruiters, enablers, and accomplices. Girls were lured from poor communities, offered food, shelter, or even education. Instead,
They were imprisoned, tortured, and filmed. Some didn't survive. His main accomplices included Lizel Lou Saralvo, who recruited victims, Carm Ann Alvarez, who helped record the abuse, and a number of others still under investigation or awaiting trial.
One of Peter Scully's most notorious videos was called Daisy's Destruction. It featured a little girl, barely 18 months old, subjected to unspeakable abuse. Many on the dark web believed the video was fake because they couldn't believe something so evil could exist. But it was very real. Thankfully, Daisy survived. She was rescued during a police raid in 2015 in the province of Bukidnon. Traumatized, injured, but alive. Since then, she's received years of psychological and medical care. And today, Daisy is safe, under full protective custody, with her identity completely hidden. Peter Scully was finally caught in 2015 after a massive joint investigation involving the Philippines, Australia, and Interpol. When arrested, the digital evidence against him was overwhelming. He was sentenced to life in prison, with more charges continuing to stack. In 2023, he was charged with over 60 additional counts, including murder, rape, and child trafficking. His accomplices, including those who lured children from the streets, are also behind bars. Now, listen closely. This video isn't just about Peter Scully. It's about protecting children everywhere, especially in underdeveloped communities, where promises of food, shelter, or education can be used to trick families. Parents, please be careful. If someone offers to sponsor your child online, investigate it. If someone wants to take your child away for photo shoots, education, or videos, be alert. Do not trust easily. Predators like Scully look for desperation. They find the poor, the forgotten, and the overlooked, and they exploit trust. Peter Scully was not a myth. He was not a legend. He was a real man who used the dark web, poverty, and silence to do the unthinkable. But he was caught because brave investigators, survivors, and families refused to stay silent. Let this story be a warning, not to fear the internet, but to respect it, to protect your children, to ask questions, and to never stay silent when something feels wrong. If you suspect a child is being abused or exploited, report it immediately. Contact your local authorities or organizations or your country's child protection services. You could save a life.